Welcome everyone. Today we're going to talk about recycling your pond water, how long you should quarantine your fish, and the pros and cons between a dedicated koi pond and an ecosystem pond. All right, let's do this. Mike Cordero from San Diego, he wants me to share some water recycling tips because he's in San Diego, California, and in California we are suffering from a very long drought, and he still wants to get a koi pond, but he wants to know, he's really concerned about water consumption and how much the cost might go up to. So here's some recycling tips for you, and this kind of goes along with some of the other shows that we've been shooting and pushing out the content for. When you're doing a water change on your pond, how cool would it be to take pond water and send it to your garden, to the tomatoes in the summertime, and then instead of sending fresh water to the garden, you can add water to the ponds. So that's like a water change deal. If you take the time right now in construction, when you're building the pond out, you can make provisions for water changes very easily, for backwash, back rinse, draining of the waterfalls and these different things. If you're gonna go into that level of construction, you can work it in right now where you could send water to some gardens and you could flood the gardens. If you followed the How to Build a Koi Pond series that we have on YouTube here, we do the backwash rinse cycle and we send all the pond water over to the bamboo that along the back fence. So when we backwash, we send that nutrient-rich water to the bamboo, and then we put the fresh, rich, new water into the pond. So the fish are benefiting from the new water with good elements, and the bamboo's getting all the benefits from the nutrient-rich stuff. Now, I do want to say, if you're going to make provisions like that to recycle the water, repurpose the pond water to the landscape, and then put the fresh water into the pond, we want to make sure you're not using algicides in your pond. We take the real natural approach. We want to put all natural products in the pond. I said it before, if I can't put it in my coffee, I don't really want to put it in my pond. So if you're using any heavy algicides in the pond to manage water quality and algae, then you're not going to want to send that to the garden. You wouldn't want to eat like tomato filled with algicide that you used in your pond. So you're going to want to make that very, very clear when you're doing those kind of things. I do want to say that, because he's worried about the drought. So I can tell you that a pond takes less water than the same area of sod. So, and typically when we're landscaping around our pond, we'll set a lot of rock work outside the edges of the pond, and then you can put drought-tolerant ponds around the area to enhance the look of the pond. So you can take an area of grass, do a beautiful water feature, and with little evaporation, and then you can do all the drought-tolerant plants around the sides of the pond with rock work and statues and so forth. So I think you can save a lot in water in the same area of landscape if you do it correctly. Now, I want to make sure you do the pond right and make sure you hydro-test the thing before you get started so you don't have any leaks in the pond, because a leaking pond is probably going to be worse for you. So make sure if you're going to have it professionally installed, the guy is highly qualified, and you check it for leaks when the pond's complete. And if you're going to do it yourself, just take your time and do all the necessary steps, and you're going to be real fine. So the best thing I can tell you is recycle the pond. When you do those water changes, recycle the water to the landscape, keep it on the property, and put that fresh new water in there. I'm going to move on to Philip Butts on YouTube, and he is responding to our quarantine video. We talked about quarantine protocols in one of the early shows of Ask the Pond Digger, and he wants to know how long we quarantine koi before introducing them to the pond. He tells me he has some quarantine processes, and he likes to put the fish in an aquarium and watch it closely before he adds it to the pond. What we do at headquarters here when we bring in new fish, we quarantine everything for 3 weeks. We took classes under Vicki Vaughn over in Georgia. We actually had her come out and teach us some quarantine protocol classes. And so we quarantine everything for 3 weeks before we set it free. And we are doing specific pathogen-free fish. They don't have these particular pathogens, and we can reassure that because of our quarantine protocols and process. So when we go through the process, there's certain medications we can add to the water that can kill undesirable parasites that you might introduce to your pond, and it kills them, but then the eggs can last a certain length of time. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I think it's 10 days. So the eggs can last around 10 days, and then we do another treatment, and then the eggs could hatch out, and then we get them at that end as well. So the right quarantine protocol for us is 3 weeks, and we can make sure that we have tackled it all in that way. Now, if you want to get really tricky about it, a quarantine protocol is probably okay if your procedure is to put them in an aquarium and then do a biopsy on the fish and check some of their slime coat underneath a microscope. And if you can do that and identify that there's no specific parasites on the fish, then you can do it a whole lot faster into the pond. But that's how we do it over here at Pond Digger headquarters. The final question I have today we're going to cover is from a Charlie Schmidt line, and he wants to know the pros and cons between an ecosystem pond and a dedicated koi pond, because he wants to build a koi pond and he's not sure which is the best option for him. So I'm going to go into the pros and cons, because this is a pretty deep topic. It can go a lot of different ways, but the real pros and cons of this are, if you're going to do a dedicated koi pond, think about the name of that title, dedicated to the fish, dedicated for the koi. So in the dedicated koi pond, we're going to be focused completely on what's best for the fish. And on an ecosystem pond, you're kind of, you're looking for this full package of stuff. So there's the two premises we're going to work off. The first and most important thing is an ecosystem pond is 18 to 24 inches deep, and a dedicated koi pond should start at around 3 foot and then go from there. 3, 4, 5 feet. You can get extreme and go 8 or 9 feet even, but past 8, it's kind of I think it's really unnecessary. But 3 is probably the minimum you want to be at. If you're going to do a dedicated koi pond, you're probably not going to have any aquatic plants in the pond. If you're going to do an ecosystem pond, you're going to have plants and fish. If you are going to do pros and cons, to continue on with that, ecosystem ponds, the way they were designed is typically to do a water change once a year. And if you're going to do a dedicated koi pond, typically you're doing a little bit of water changes every single week when you backwash filters and so forth. Pros and cons to continue on, ecosystem ponds usually are half the cost of doing an ecosystem pond, of a dedicated koi pond. So imagine a $10,000 ecosystem pond is really a $20,000 plus koi pond if you go to that extreme, because the life support takes more, the pond's deeper, there's more labor, a lot of those things continue on. More pros and cons, I would say in an ecosystem pond, you're going to have a little bit lighter fish load, so there's not going to be quite as much fish going on in there. Remember, the water volume is not as much. You're getting that full package. You're getting, the water plants and the fish. You're getting, small mosquito fish maybe in there, other little things that you can put in there, high-fin banded sharks. So you're mixing other things in there, tadpoles and frogs, and all these things are kind of happening in the ecosystem pond, that package. With a dedicated koi pond, once again, we're focused on the art of koi, and we want the bottom of the pond to disappear. So I want to take that to the pros and cons. Some people really love to see that cobble in the bottom of an ecosystem pond. They walk up, they see the gravel, the different textures and tones. It looks very natural to them. And then when you come over to the dedicated koi pond, they don't want that gravel in the bottom of the pond trapping debris and solids, because the philosophy of cleaning the water is very different. You want to walk up to the dedicated koi pond and have the bottom of the pond completely disappear. It just be like this black void where you just see these beautiful fish swimming across in an artistic fashion. So those are some of the pros and the hardcore pros and cons of it all. And that's usually how I start off a consultation when I'm dealing with a client and they're not sure exactly what's right for them. I start to put that content on the table to show the two different sides. And sometimes we agree somewhere in the middle. So that's the opening stages of the pros and cons between those two water features to help you better make a decision what works for you. So do me this, Charlie. After you watch this video, give me some more feedback on maybe what's right for you, and then we can take it to the next level. And once you've got this input, sometimes you go straight for this or straight for that, and then we can take you along the route and design the pond that's specific for you and your tastes. I'm going to finish the day with a question of the day for you, as I always do. I want to know how deep your pond is. Some ecosystem ponds are deeper than 18 to 24 inches deep. Some, are 3-4 foot deep. But I want to know exactly your depth on your pond. I'm very curious to know. If you want me to answer your question on the Ask the Pond Digger show, you know how to do it. Hashtag Ask the Pond Digger on all the social media platforms. I'll do my very best to answer it right here on the show. That's it for today. Thanks for watching.